Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm your host here today at Gloves on Film, and we're going to discuss the last movie in this series. After White House Down, Olympus Has Fallen, and now Angel Has Fallen. Now, if you have not seen the film, just a quick recap. The movie is about secret agent Mike Banning, and he's basically being framed for the failed assassination attempt on the president. The President Turnball, who's played by, I believe, Morgan Freeman. Now, throughout the entire movie, he's trying to prove his innocence and basically see or figure out who framed him. Now, if you've been following any of these films, you already know it's a question about who done it and why. Now, within the first 10 minutes, we get to see Secret Service agent Mike Banning and the rest of the Secret Service staff. They're going on a fishing trip with the president. Now, at that point is when the assassination attempt occurs. Now, for some reason, there's drones attempting or basically targeted at each individual agent by facial recognition. So all of them are taking out their kills, and for some reason, Mike Banning is spared. Now, that's what leads to FBI agents and everybody feeling like, oh, wow, how did 15 people get murdered and only you survive? Like, what are the odds of that? So, you know, during that fishing trip, of course, the president was saved. He was thrown in the water, and he ends up in a coma. Now, throughout the beginning portion of this film, he stays in the coma, so he's unable to really give any type of advice or prove Mike Banning's innocence. And the first thing that they did was, you know, bring Mike Banning in. They had him handcuffed to the hospital bed, and they're questioning him and asking him, what's going on? How come your entire team's dead, but you're the only one that survived? Something about that ain't right. It smells a little fishy. And so he tells them, he pleads with them, hey, I didn't do it. I don't know what you guys have going on. And so the FBI says, okay, we're going to start digging into this guy's past. Let's see what's really going on. Now, they cut to a very short scene or clip of the vice president coming into the hospital room where the president is in a comatose. And just the way that he touches his feet and his body language doesn't match up with his emotion. Immediately, I said, oh my God, he did it. He did this. He did this because he would have the most to gain. I mean, he's a vice president, and if the president is no longer there, he can be sworn in, and he can have whatever agenda or push forward whatever he wants. So I'm like, yeah, he did it, and I was sold. I didn't have to see anything else. I knew, because a normal reaction, most people are pushed to certain emotions. And the things that he was saying, you know, he was acting like he was so sad and, oh my God, he's in a coma. But it's like his body wasn't reading, it wasn't matching up, basically. So I knew he was full of crap. And so he goes to be sworn in, and of course, they take Mike Banning away. They take him to some place to get questioning and to figure out what's going on. So, of course, immediately they have him whisked away with some secret agents. And, of course, I'm thinking to myself, damn, how you going to get out of this one? Because he's chained at the wrist. He's chained at the ankles. How is he going to break out of this? Of course, the people who set him up, they break him free. He ends up killing those guys and getting away. And he put two and two together like, wait, I know these guys. And the first clip, the movie opens up as basically like a tactical training. Like they're going through a course. And so it ends up just being practice, but you see the other guys that are involved. And Mike Banning is training with them. One of the guys was the guy from the beginning. He's like, oh, snap. This is the guy from the beginning. I know this dude. And so everything kind of starts to flow together for him. He still doesn't know why now. He knows who did it, and he knows that these people have the same kind of training that he did. So the FBI go, and they start doing their digging, and they go and they ask his wife. And I love the fact that his wife wasn't in there acting silly, crying, you know, and they were questioning her and just like they do in any type of interrogation. They try to flip your witness, you know, and so they're telling her, don't you know your husband has this going on? And granted, he did have some psychological issues, or like he was experiencing just some issues just from his body taking a beating over the course of the years. And no, he didn't tell his wife. So they use that as, you know, fuel to say, oh, he's keeping these secrets from you, so what makes you think that he didn't plan this behind your back? And I love the fact that she was like, nah, Dad, I know he didn't do it, honey. I know my man. I know him, honey. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought it was good. So fast forward, Mike Banning's going basically on the getaway to get away from the cops or whatever. And so he's running into all of these people that are sent to assassinate him. Now, like I said, and once he put the two and two together after seeing the gentleman's face, he knew that this guy happened to be one of his old friends. Like, this is always funny. There is no betrayal like the betrayal of a friend, honey. And this movie shows you. So we always see a coded phone call coming through to this friend about instructions on what they need to do to get Mike Banning killed. Because again, like I referenced before, any type of movie with any conspiracy or any government, there has to be a fall guy. There has to be a fall man. That's just how this thing always plays out. That's why we never really know how anything even happens. Like, what's the truth behind it? We don't know. All we know is what's to gain. And so, like I said before, the vice president had the most to gain out of everybody because he wanted to go to war and President Turnball didn't. You know, some people believe in peace, or you get more things with, like they said, you get more with, bees get more with honey than shit, basically. So there's some people who feel like, you know, violence will continue. Violence begets violence. You know, the old saying. Goes through all of these different trials and tribulations, and we get introduced to his father. And his father is like a nomad. He's basically off the grid. And he ends up helping Mike Banning and having him be safe and to get his I guess you would say get his message to FBI once he I guess escapes, because no matter what, they still believe that he has something to do with it, because they always feel like, well, if you had nothing to do with it, then why are you running? Why are you getting away? Even though, you know, any sane person, you're gonna run and you're gonna hide, because listen, you're innocent, especially being in that type of entanglement. It's hard. It's hard to prove, because we've seen this happen time and time and time again, and still to this day, there are people now incarcerated or blamed for crimes that they didn't do. They're going through the whole process of, I know that these guys are going to start going after my family and my kids. And so he sends the dad to go and grab the wife, and the dad gets there just in the nick of time because some assassins come in to try to kill the wife. For these types of film, greed, power, and always politics play hand in hand for any catalyst, for any type of war or any casualties. Now, I thought that basically this one, out of the 3 movies that were filmed, this was probably the better one to me. This gave me a little bit more of an edge, and I was pretty much on the edge of my seat just trying to figure out why the hell they would pick the president's right-hand man. I mean, he really would be the easiest target to get. Another thing is, I almost forgot. Jada Pinkett Smith is in this movie, and listen, honey, her hair is laid. I could not help it. The first thing I noticed, she's in this film. She's actually the FBI agent that actually goes to interrogate Mike Banning when he's in the hospital room. She's the first person, and unfortunately, her character gets bumped off by the agents that are hired or contracted to do this whole ordeal anyway. But not before she discovered that my boy Mike Banning was actually telling the truth. But this is after so many people had to die in the midst of it. Now, like I said before, out of all these 3 films, this had to be the better one for me. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I enjoy movies like this where each minute you're like, damn, what's going to happen next and who's going to do it? Although, like I said, I do figure movies out pretty quickly. And within the first 10 minutes, I already figured out who done it. I knew why. You know, it was coming together piece by piece. But if you haven't checked out the film, please check it out. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me week after week as I ramble and I talk about movies on and on and on. All right, guys, until next time. Peace.